What was life like, Heather, before we started working together?
I would say slightly miserable. I've done several things before. I've done things with you before, outside of before you started your practice. And so it was frustrating because you have all of these resources there at your disposal. And so you've got people telling you, try this, try this, try this. And it's like, okay, great. But like, where does that leave me? It leaves me confused. And I'm just going to keep on just doing what I think I know that I'm doing. I was constantly bloated, trying all the things and just getting nowhere, which left me even more confused and more impatient. And I was like, okay, if I can't figure this out, then like, what's the point? And I could tell, especially after nursing my last kiddo, the whole hormonal shift was completely different than it was the first go round. And I noticed my PMDD symptoms were a lot more apparent than they ever were before. And I was seriously considering getting on some type of medication to help that. And I was like, I'd rather not be on a medication unless I have to. So let's see if we can fix this from a food nutritional perspective before going that route.
How are you feeling in your body day to day? How did this affect you?
I don't have to think twice about the outfits that I pick. Like I remember, you know, looking through my closet and being like, it would be nice if I just woke up and picked an outfit and felt great in it and not having to worry about, okay, this is going to look great now, but what's going to happen after I eat lunch? Am I going to look like I'm pregnant after lunch? Like, so a lot of my outfits would be determined by how my body felt that day. And then, like the PMDD, it was like a switch went off in my head, like the day that I was out of my ovulation phase. And I just knew I was going to be bloated and miserable for the next week and a half to 2 weeks. And now it's like, I don't even think about it. Like I wake up, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's just get ready for the day. So it's no longer taking up all of my thought processes. I have no bloat unless I eat something and my body's like, we don't like this. I'm like, okay, check. Gonna put that on the list. I'm also more aware of of cravings and where they come from. And instead of going towards whatever I'm craving, I'm like, okay, can I go take a walk around? Can I watch a quick video about something? Can I read a book? Like doing something that is not food related. And I mean, to be fair, a lot of my past reasons why I was doing this was because of vanity's sake, but now it's not about that. I'm like, look, I'm not 34. Like, it's crazy how your mind switches from your 20s to your 30s. Vanity's not the reason. Vanity's more of a bonus point. But now it's like, no, like I'm doing this because I want to be around for my kids because I have 2 boys. I need to be strong for boys because they are a lot.
What made you finally decide that you were ready for support and wanted to do something different?
I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I felt like I had utilized most, if not all, the resources that I knew to do. And, I've been following you for a while, and you were talking about how, you need to have things that are personalized because yes, like there are resources out there, and yes, there are people that find that those work for them. But if it's not, but I mean, if you're not getting to the root cause of the issue, then nothing that you are gonna do is going to fix anything. You're just in this vicious cycle. And I could tell that like I was not okay for my family, and I was like, I don't want them to see that part of me. And so I need to model that, like, hey, yes, you guys are important, but I also have to take care of myself because the benefits of that are going to ripple into the rest of it. And I was also done seeing the scale go up and just circling this cycle of, to be honest, self-pity and comparison. And so using my knowledge wasn't enough. And I knew that I needed to outsource to somebody who was more of an expert in this field that wasn't your traditional doctor, and also someone who was not going to take any bull crap. Very direct, like this is what it is. Either you're gonna do this or you're not. And I'm like, but that's what I need. I need someone who's going to not sugarcoat things, like be direct with me. I'll feel my feelings for a little bit, then I'll get back up and going.
And there were times where you were, and then like I had to have tough love, and you always appreciated the tough love conversations.
Yep.
That's awesome. So what's been the biggest shift or transformation you've experienced physically or mentally?
Oh gosh. So if I could sum it up, I think it would be like this is a true lifestyle change. And so like in the past, I was like, okay, this is just temporary, trim off some of the weight, and then, I might go back to it, I might not, whatever. But getting to the true root cause of why this wasn't working, like, I kid you not, that GI map was a game changer, because it was like, okay, we've tried all the things. Why is this not working? Oh, there's a much deeper issue that we haven't even, explored yet. And so it justified my confusion and my frustration of what's not working. But like, once you get to the root cause of the issue and you try different things to, like, not throw at it, but doing things like with the food and understanding that, there are supplements that could help along with the food, that was honestly more of a game changer. Wish I would have done this a lot earlier, having more awareness, because like with this particular piece, it's not restriction, it's more of, this is not going to do your body any good. And when you invest in something, you take it a lot more seriously, versus if it was like something for free. That's something that, this is an investment, but if you invest in it, you almost take it a lot more seriously, because you have a buy-in with all of it. From a mental perspective, yes, we all have our good days and bad days. That's just part of being a human. But I have a lot more good days than I have rough ones. I don't have that PMDD switch anymore. I'm able to, understand, like, okay, I'm kind of, I'm feeling a little down. Where's my food at? Oh, my protein's low. Okay, let me get some protein on board and see what happens with that. And just being a lot more aware of just like how good I feel on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, why would I ever go back to that?
Okay, how has this affected your family and your husband and your kids, and you work a full-time job? Like, you are busy.
Yes.
There's never an excuse for you. So how do you fit this in? How has it affected all those areas?
So I'm a lot more positive and a lot more confident around my family. I've not always had issues with like body confidence, but that's been an overarching theme since I was in undergrad. And, I never fully understood why Den liked it so much, and like I didn't, but now I'm at a point where I'm like, no, like, I feel really good in my body right now and I can rock it. And so and that's something that he loves seeing, because he's not someone who cares about vanity at all. That's just not how he is. But he's always said that, he wanted me to get my confidence back, and now he's seen that. And so that's been really awesome too.
And you're not even going to the gym, like, you're doing it from
No.
home. You're working around your schedule. It doesn't have to be hours at the gym. That's huge for you. And so, oh man, I'm just so proud of you. What surprised you the most about this process, or what have you learned, and what have you learned about your body?
So when I first started, I was really nervous, because I was like, oh, I'm not going to do gluten. I'm not going to do sugar. Like, how in the world is my body going to do this? Because in the past, like, it was so difficult. It was a lot easier than I thought it was. And I think part of that was because, number one, like, I knew what the root cause of the issue was. Number two, I knew that I had supplements on board. And so this wasn't the case, but my brain very much works in extremes. And so I told myself, I'm like, okay, this isn't just food. You're on supplements now. So you have to be strict with this. Otherwise it's not going to work and you have to start over again. And no one has time for that. So pairing the right foods with the right supplements on top of accountability, and then also knowing that this is truly like an investment. And so there's no other option but this working.
Mm-hmm. And it has.
Mm-hmm.
And it really has. How has your view of food changed? In the beginning, because we've worked together for a while now, we started working together last year. And so how has it differed looking at food now versus when you first started with me?
So I think I would make a lot of excuses for eating the wrong foods. Like, my emotions were driving a lot of my decision making. Now I look at food as something that I'm able to have, not something to restrict. And so like, I remember when I did keto, did it work? Yeah, it worked. It worked wonderfully, but there was so much restriction. And so the focus was, don't have any of these. It was very restricted. And so like, now I don't look at things as I'm being restrictive on this. I'm looking at it as, maybe at some point I can incorporate this in, and I can structure my meals to be like, okay, this needs to be very protein focused. And it's not about demonizing any type of food group. It's just finding the foods that work for you, given the state that you're in, with finding how to heal all around.
Mm-hmm. And you feel better. You notice what foods now, like, you're so in tune with your body, what foods automatically you're like, that does not make me feel good. And and it gives you more power to make that choice later on. Like, I'm not worth, like, I don't want to feel like that anymore. If you could go back and tell yourself something at the beginning of this journey, what would it be?
Trust the process in all caps. Trust the process in all caps. Slow doesn't mean things are not working. So for me, this has been a lot more of a slower go. It wasn't a very rapid shift. And so just because things are going slow doesn't mean that it's not working. It doesn't mean that it's not working. It takes your body time to get sick and to continue to get sick. So therefore, you need to give your body time to heal as well. Doing things on a daily basis and celebrating those daily consistent wins, like even if it's taking it one meal at a time. So like I never pictured myself as a sourdough maker, but I was like, okay, I will just like try it and, you know, see what happens. But I knew going into it, it was going to be much better quality than anything that I could buy at the store. And so I was like, okay, just just focus on this one thing. Once you get it down, once it's part of your rhythm, then you can add things into it. So if it seems like it's a lot, it's probably going to be a lot, but start with one thing at a time, make it part of your rhythm so you don't have to think twice about it. And then you can start incorporating other things into it.
So you were shaping the identity, this new person, through the habits you were establishing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You established so many new habits. I love that. What would you say to another woman who's stuck like you were and scared to invest in herself? I mean, it took you a couple of years to be like, I really need this, right?
Yeah. Okay, so what I would say is you are not a failure for where you are. The world has failed you. You have not failed you. And so it's time to get your power back. The best investment that you can make is in yourself, which may seem selfish, but if you continue to stay sick, then the world has won and they have taken your power. You have to get that back. We have all the resources. We're the most connected, yet disconnected society there's ever been, but it doesn't fit for everyone. You need something you need something personalized. You need someone who is, you need someone who is on your side, who is willing to give you a kick in the butt every now and then, because we all need that from time to time. But you also need someone who is willing to look deeper than anyone else will. So stop throwing your money at things just to get an answer. Invest in something that's going to be a long-term change for someone who has been there, who has implemented those changes. And also, not to mention, it's not going to be a perfect thing. Like, we're all still learning, but this is a way that you can also find a way to give yourself patience and grace. And if you stumble, okay, accept it, find a solution, and keep on going.
What do you feel like this has taught your boys looking at you through this health journey?
So I think it's taught my boys that food is not something to look at as, I would say, the enemy. I'm really, really conscious about, so balance, it's great to shoot for. I don't believe there is such a thing as balance. There's only so much that I can control when it comes to like food for my family. If Cody wants a packed lunch, I'll pack him a lunch. I know exactly what he's getting, and there you go. And I always pack him an after school snack, because the after school care that he's in, they quite frankly eat junk, And so would I rather him not have that? Of course not. But I also understand that it's going to be a lot worse for him if he looks at a food and he's like, oh, I can't have that because it's bad for me type of deal. But also, like, because they're eating a lot of what I'm eating, they're already far ahead of the curve because they're getting that protein, they're getting that energy. And, we talk about recharging our batteries all the time. If we have this, is this going to recharge your battery, or is it going to give you a quick burst of energy and then you're going to crash? And so my almost 6-year-old is starting to kind of understand that, looking at the quality of the meals that we get. If we go to a fast food restaurant, for example, or if we go out to eat or something like that, that's not the norm. That's more like a treat if we don't feel like having leftovers for the 17th day in a row, or or just something like that. They can feel confident knowing that they're picking foods that they like that will also nourish their body. But if they have a cheeseburger and fries every once in a while, or if they have like a prepackaged, snack or whatever, it's not going to be detrimental to them because they're still kids. But I'm also not being the mom that's like, you can't ever have that ever, because then I don't want them to look at it and be scared of that food. But I also don't want them to turn into the rebel mentality of like, oh, you told me not to eat this. When I get old enough to make those choices, now I'm going to eat this type of deal. So yeah, so putting everything on more of a level playing field and understanding that like we're only in control of so much, but like 95% of their meals are getting at home, and all of that. And then not only that, but like also having my husband on board. He hasn't really changed anything, but oddly enough, his weight's been going down a little bit too. And I'm like, well, first of all, you're a man, so that's easy for you. It's not just me eating the different foods, it's the whole family eating the different foods.
Yes. Yeah, you're not demonizing food. Like there's no bad or good food. Food is food. Does it fuel your body? Does it nourish your body? Or does it make you feel not so good? But I love that your mentality around that and teaching them so young. That's really exciting. Is there anything else that you would tell somebody who is wanting to do this, or is looking? It's like, was it in your shoes and it's just struggling?
So it's always scary to know the reason behind where things are the way they are, and this is not your usual, oh, if we just change this one thing or get on this one supplement that you are going to see drastic changes. Now, if that happens for you, then that's great. That didn't happen for me. So again, slow doesn't mean that stuff is not working, because again, your body needs time to heal, but you have to start somewhere. And so yes, it is going to seem like a lot, and yes, it is a big investment, but it's so beyond worth it. I can't even tell you. Like I've been telling all my friends, I'm like, hey, you need to get with her. And they're like, okay, send me the info. And I'm like, okay, I'll send you the info, but actually like look into it. So yeah, just trust the process. It's okay to be scared. Slow does not mean that it's not working, but you are not the problem. The world has failed you, and anyone can easily buy into it. You have to start with the root problem. Find the foods that are going to nourish your body while you go through the gut healing process. And I mean, for example, I still miss my sourdough. Am I going to have sourdough toast every now and then? Yeah, but I've also healed my gut enough to see like, okay, is this something that I can incorporate, or is this something that I need to maybe not do? And if it's something that I can't do, okay, guess what? You can turn sourdough gluten-free. Does it take a hot minute? Yeah. Do I want to do it? No. When your body is sick, your body can't tell you what it needs and what it doesn't need. It doesn't have that ability because it's trying to fight off the damage that has already been done. But just one thing at a time, take it slow, and don't be afraid of tough love. Feel your feelings for a little bit, but then get back up and going, because it's going to hurt. But part of growing is going through that fear first.
A lot of women struggle with PMDD and don't realize, first they're not diagnosed, right? Mm-hmm. And then they think they're crazy. What was the big shift for you, and how do you feel now compared to that?
So I track my cycle just because I'm nosy and I'm very aware, and I like to know like what's happening. I had always kind of struggled with like your general PMS symptoms, but PMDD was never something that I considered. I would go to bed the last day of ovulating, and I'd wake up that next day when I was in, I don't remember what phase that is, follicular luteal, whatever it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I woke up pissed off at everybody, and like nothing happened. I instantly went up like 7 to 8 pounds overnight just because of water weight or whatever it is. I was so impatient. I was easily frustrated. My face would break out. This time last year, my face was so terrible. I would not leave the house without makeup on, and I never wanted to be that person. Now I can wake up and be like, do I feel like putting in the work to put makeup on today? No. And I can still go out and like still feel confident. Now, do I still get breakouts? Yes. Does my nose sometimes look like Rudolph? Yes. But it's not near to the level that it ever was. And so before, yes, I mean, it literally felt like a switch went off in my head, and it was 2 weeks of just straight up misery. And it wasn't until I got off of my cycle that I started to kind of feel normal. And then when I was ovulating, I was like, okay, like this is the real me. This is what I'm supposed to feel like on a day-to-day basis. But I was like 2 weeks out of every single month I'm feeling this way. Absolutely not. And then I would talk to my therapist about it, and he was like, well, it sounds like you might need some SSRIs. And I'm like, there's got to be something that I can do where I'm not having to go to towards a medication. Now, there is a time and place for meds. Absolutely. Especially when it comes to the whole mental health aspect. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is that your brain and your body are constantly communicating, and whatever is going on emotionally or mentally is going to affect you physically. Anxiety is a perfect example. I struggle with anxiety. So if my anxiety is super high, like I've had panic attacks before, I've had anxiety attacks before. That is a that's a real emotion that we all have, but it can result in physical symptoms. And so when you are stuck in this cycle of not being healed and being quote unquote sick, your brain can distort what it actually needs, despite you trying all the things that we're told this way, that way, and the other. It's not a quick fix solution, but I will say probably within the first month of us starting to work together, like last September, actually, the first month the switch was there, but it was like 50% less. I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. The next month it went down like another 25%. Now I stopped ovulating like a couple days ago, but there's no switch now. Yes, I might be a little impatient sometimes and maybe a little bit, frustrated, but that's normal. But we've been told that PMS is normal. We've also been told that PMDD is normal. And it's like, no, this isn't normal. But with women, this is something that we are blessed / cursed, depending on your mental mindset, with having cycles. But it's oddly a beautiful thing that we get to experience, but we don't see that side of it because we've been put in this box. And if we're crying every 5 seconds, if we're just, if we're angry at the world, we get put in this box of, oh, she's just PMS. It's made a huge drastic difference, because now instead of dreading the 2 weeks of the month when I'm approaching my cycle, I don't look forward to it, but I don't even think twice about it. I don't have to count down the days of being like, and also warning my husband, like, hey, I'm not ovulating in like 48 hours. So just so you're aware, like, we don't even have that conversation. My weight, yes, your weight fluctuates, a little bit, but instead of fluctuating 7 to 8 pounds, it's maybe like 1.
Was your period different? Remind me.
Yes, I couldn't go more than 2 hours the first 2 days without changing pads. It was so heavy. It's still heavy, but I can go longer than that 2-hour time frame before changing sanitary products. And it also doesn't hurt near as bad.
Man, and you were on birth control for an extended period of time before we worked together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never do that again. Never again.
I'm so proud of you. Seriously, it took a while in the beginning, but once you started catching momentum and seeing the habits that were established, like you saying, in the slow process, like you were seeing changes. And it took me saying, Heather, look at all these changes you're seeing. Sometimes we don't see it when we're going through it, it's hard. And it's hard to retrain your brain and your habits that you've established for years and sometimes your whole life. But you have totally transformed your health and your family and your mindset in not even a year. Like, a year and a half? Not even a year. We are summer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just so impressed. I love it. Thank you for doing this. You're amazing.